Good morning, it's June 1st, the start of a brand new month, a fresh slate. This morning I actually got up earlier than I've been getting up. I was in a good routine for a while, getting up before like 8 a.m., but recently I've been sleeping in more, which is fine because it felt like my body needed it. However, this morning I forced myself to get out of bed a bit earlier, do some yoga, get some sunlight to help reset my circadian rhythm a little bit. My goal for this month is to start doing yoga again more in the mornings. I really like how it sets my day up. I've also been recovering from a little bit of an injury lately. I got a bit of a bruised rib one day in the show, and I was actually out of shows for like a week and a half. It has been getting a bit better now, and I just want to do everything I can to support my recovery, so I think doing yoga in the mornings will really help with that. Later today we have reblock rehearsals and also one show, so I'll definitely take you along for what that looks like. But first, we're docked in Nassau, so I'm going to get off with a friend who is actually signing off the ship tomorrow. So we're going to get off now for a little lunch together, then I'll come back on the ship and prep for shows. I've been showing a lot of the fun adventures we've had in port, but now that we're on to the 3 and 4 day cruises, the port days aren't as exciting as they were before. I am doing some fun things in the port, but I really wanted to show you what my show day routine kind of looks like as well. What's going under? So I just asked Leo why the tugboats have so many ropes. He's going to share his knowledge with you.
Well, basically, tugboats sometimes they need to push on ships, so they keep these old ropes just to avoid giving some marks on the ship's hull. Most of the cruise ships have a white hull, so if they just use the rubber there that they have on the side, you see, they will just leave some marks just to, keep the ships nice. They keep this rope, even if they touch the ship, they will not leave any mark.
And then they don't have to repaint the ship so up.
True. We still have to work on the paint, but if they have to push one of them, they will give a really bad black mark there.
So now that we saw the tugboat, Leo was telling me this is where the tugboat would push if it needed to, because apparently it's in between fire zones, so structurally it wouldn't damage the ship if the tugboat had to push in that area.
That's correct, yeah. Even though this ship is powerful ship, I've never seen a case where the Freedom class have to actually use a tugboat. But still, they need to construct the ship in a way that if they have to use it, they know where to push or pull. You can also see a bit there. That's intended to be for connecting a rope and pulling. This is not made for mainly weather. If you have a loss of propulsion or something, you have an emergency and you require tugboats in a maneuver, they will also be helping from that position. And they are placed mainly on a fire zone because it's a structural place just to push, without making any damage.
So that's why there's the line there.
That's the line, that's the construction line, structural line, yes, correct. And that's why we also saw the tugboat before with the rope. So basically, if someone is pushing there, they don't leave us a mark. Freedom looks very nice today.
Yeah, there's no marks on the outside. On the Carnival ship, there's a no tug sign on the shell door because if it pushes there, then it would damage the ship, yeah?
That's correct. That's the shell door. You don't want to damage the shell door, so that's an indication or area of not to push.
Interesting. Thanks for teaching me more about ships. I've been working on ships for 3.5 years nearly. I didn't know any of that information, so thank you.
Well, you're welcome.
It's time to warm up. It's around 3:45. That gives me 45 minutes to warm up and get my skates on before we have reblock rehearsals. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm currently dealing with a bruised rib, so getting a good warm up is super important to me currently. It's always important, but right now I don't want to aggravate it further. It is getting better. I was out of shows for about a week and a half, and now I've been back in shows for about 3 weeks to a month. But bruised ribs are no joke. They take a while because it's in an area that is moving in your body constantly, like coughing, laughing used to hurt me. So I'm going to make sure my body is nice and warmed up before we have rehearsals. We're having these reblock rehearsals at 4:30. I'm not sure yet if the show tonight is going to be a reblock or not, but this way we're prepared no matter what. Every time someone's out of the show, we have to reblock them out to make sure that everything in the show still runs smoothly and everything still happens. It's the ice captain's job to prepare the reblock and think through all the details, costume changes, props. Basically, we need to make sure that everything still happens in the show as it should. Someone has to do that person's solo. This reblock shouldn't be too complicated for me because it's a boy that's out. I'm not doing any extra solos, but small details might change, like positioning of where I'm doing certain choreography. With reblock rehearsals, we usually start at the top of the show and work our way through from beginning to end, making all the necessary changes. Here, we're starting with the opening number, just checking to make sure everything still flows, especially making sure there aren't any major gaps in the spacing. There's a small lift in this section that normally involves everyone partnered up, but now the middle girl doesn't have a partner, so instead she'll spin on her own. The ice captain finds a way to adjust, all while maintaining a clean visual effect. We also go through any tricks or elements that might be affected by the changes and make sure they're still safe.
5, 6, 7, 8. 1.
For example, in this pinwheel, the skater in the middle plays a really important role in keeping the axis centered because I'm out on the end doing a death spiral, and if that axis shifts too much, I could end up hitting the boards. There's a progression to how we run elements safely. First, we rehearsed this element without the death spiral, then we added it in, and finally we ran it with the music to make sure everything felt solid. Props are another big part of our show, so any changes in who's holding or moving them get rehearsed too. In this reblock, we had people at different points on the parachute than usual, so we practiced both the entrance and the exit to make sure it all stays smooth and coordinated and no one gets clotheslined with the parachute. Done the reblock rehearsals. I'm just having a quick snack. I had a protein shake, hard-boiled egg. Now I'm having yogurt and banana. I was actually quite hungry because I didn't have that big of a lunch. I just kind of ate some snacks. I'm gonna do my makeup now. It's almost 6:30. Then we have notes at 7:45. And also, I have to tell you the wildest thing. I ran into Leo in the I-95 and he said that they actually used a tugboat today during the departure. As you saw when we were doing our reblock rehearsals, when we first got on the ice, we saw that the ship was listing super hard. And apparently there was a crazy wind and rain outside. They were using all the ship's energy and then they actually had to use the tugboat, which is wild that we were talking about that today. I don't know, maybe we jinxed it. I realized that I never properly introduced him. After I'm done my makeup, I'll stop by his office so you can meet him properly. He's got an exciting next contract and I think that you all would be interested in hearing a bit about it and also about what he does on board. Working on a ship, you really get to meet the coolest people and I love to learn about different types of jobs. I think Leo's job is one of the coolest on the ship. He is the chief officer safety. I never fully understood what the chief officer safety did until I started talking to Leo. One of the things I didn't know is how much they are actually at the bridge to help maneuver the ship, drive the ship, dock the ship. I'll definitely ask him a couple questions later so you can get to meet him better. Getting to meet cool people on the ship and learn about different types of jobs. It's one of my favorite things about working on a ship, but one of the hardest things is saying goodbye to people constantly. People's contracts don't often match up unless you're all in one cast signing on together. You really have to learn how to say goodbye and keep in touch with people if that's what you want to do. It's definitely one of the more difficult parts about working on a ship. Okay, enough talking because I really gotta get my makeup done. I always start with this primer. It's so good for gripping the makeup to your face, especially when you're sweating so much. Side note, this Studio B is, I think, the hottest one I've ever worked in. I don't know why it's so warm in this one. So I'm gonna start with my eyeshadow because then once I put on my foundation, then it just cleans up the eyeshadow. Also, I don't think I've told you yet, I did get a GoPro, so now I can film better footage of the show and also get some underwater content. There were a lot of situations that passed me by in the last month where I was just like, oh, I wish I had a GoPro for this. So now I have a GoPro and I'm gonna try it for the first time tonight to film the show. I don't know how it's gonna work out. Hopefully it gets some good footage for this video. Also, a nice thing is when we get the video footage that's just like from the camera that they have in Studio B, it only has the music. It doesn't have the audience reactions and the venue sound, and it's way more clear than the camera that they have installed in Studio B, especially on the older ships. I forgot to mention, we had the reblock rehearsals. It wasn't just in case. We're actually gonna do a reblocked show tonight. I don't have that many changes to my show, just sort of little placement things. I have to remember where the spacing is. I'm in this window of people instead of this window, but it's a big reblock for Max because he'll be doing his understudy. So that's exciting, especially since it's his first contract. So it's his first understudy experience. One of my favorite things about show makeup is that it doesn't have to be perfect. Like, no one's gonna see that your eyeliner is a bit wobbly. And especially since we're doing makeup so many times a week, it's really nice to know that all those little details don't matter that much from a distance. As long as you're wearing sufficient makeup, you'll be fine. Because honestly, eyeliner is the bane of my existence. I just wish that I was able to do a nice wing every time without fail. Final step. I feel like no matter how bad my makeup looks, once I put on lashes, it looks fine. Lashes are like magic makeup touch. Did you ever wear eyelashes before coming on shows? Me either. The first time I put it on was like for a tech run. It took me so long.
Yeah, same. I didn't know how to put it.
No one teaches you these things. That and how to fix your fishnets. Two things that showgirls need a school for. All right, all done. The lashes made a huge difference. Now I look ready for shows. Okay, so I have notes in 30 minutes, but I'm just gonna go stop by Leo's office so he can properly introduce himself to you. Oh, and I did set up the GoPro. I'm very excited to use it. I should be able to start it from my phone backstage, but we will see. You have a second?
Hey, yes.
I thought you needed to be properly introduced.
Closing few things here. Tomorrow is a big day, happy day for me. It's time to go home.
What do you do on a day-to-day basis on freedom seas?
What I do on a daily basis, well, that depends on the day, but if I have to kind of resume that, I work with the captain and stuff on bridge operations, arrival, departure maneuvers, which is a big thing now on a 3 and 4 days cruise. Basically, the rest of my day I spend with training and certificating the crew. You know, training and certification of the crew is one of the main things in my position. So I just need to make sure everybody is up to speed when it comes to the emergency plan, and that everybody's ready to know in case something happened on the ship. So,
keep us all safe.
well,
Sure.
this part of my job is not easy, you know, 1,400 crew members. Yeah. It takes a lot of training, but yeah, that's more or less what I do. Half of the day with the crew and half of the day with the bridge.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's
Very
cool. It's a nice job. It's interesting. Every day is a different day. Many things happening around, you know. Same itinerary, but there is no day that is actually the same on this position.
I bet. So you're off for your break now. What's next in store?
Tomorrow is a happy day. Yes, tomorrow I'm going home. So not having a long vacation, no more than 4 weeks. Usually my normal vacation would be like 10 weeks. I'm going home for like 3 weeks, seeing my family in Brazil. And then I've been assigned to go to Sweden for 2 days with something called Marine Profile. Basically it's like a psychological test for our next step, for a position of staff captain. Going back home after that for like 10 days only, and then I need to fly back to Europe, to Rotterdam. I'm gonna be doing a LNG training, which is for the propulsion of the next ship, more or less, to put it in a simple words, but it's related to the fuel and propulsion system. awesome. And from there I'm going to Finland, to Turku. I'm gonna be joining Star. I'm gonna be being part of the team taking the new ship. So I'm actually excited. It's a big challenge. I'm looking forward for that. So short vacation, but I'm quite happy.
Sounds like a lot of exciting things.
Yes, a lot of stuff going back and forward to Europe 3 times in 1 month. New ship, new challenge. We're gonna be a long contract there, but I'm happy for that. You know, I was on the Icon last year, so it's a ship that I like. It's a class that I like, and I got the chance to do it one more time. And in this case, I'm gonna be the permanent chief safety there. I feel proud at the same time. You know, just short vacation, but a lot of stuff going on.
So if anyone's cruising on Star of the Seas in the next couple months.
Well, I'm gonna be there from July 11 until mid-November, so I'm gonna be like 4 months there.
So make sure you say hi to Leo. Also, if you want to know more about Leo, you can follow him on Instagram. Follow along on his upcoming adventures.
Yeah, sounds good.
Max, it's your first understudy experience. How do you feel about it?
I'm excited.
Actually, like, feels like full solo. It's not like step out. Like,
Yeah.
It's true.
I mean, I feel like Stas is able to say that because he did Tai Chi.
I got it.
You're ready to be Mr. Satisfaction?
I'm ready.
Ready to be so satisfied?
Also, I got a GoPro and we're filming this show. You can have it on the record.
And it's good because you'll have the audio and I'll be screaming the entire time.
They
Everybody, watch our preset. Ready? Oh! just incredible, right? This is the most talented person I've ever met.
So now I'm ready to press on.
That was a once in a lifetime opportunity to witness. That was honestly like
My pants for opening, my gaiters.
life changing,
If only everyone could preset like this.
revolutionary.
Yeah.
Adelina's just confused.
What's that? Oh.
I want to see the moment, you know, like in the pirates.
Yeah.
When I'm straight.
Don't hit it.
No.
Did I start it? I really hope it works. Okay. It's connected. Record. It's recording. Hopefully that works. All right, 2 minutes. I gotta cross to the other side and put on my hat for opening. Someone told me I look like Luigi with this hat on, and now I can't unsee it. Back in the cabin now, it's 9:30. We had one show, one and done, as we would say. I need a good deep shower, have dinner, and then I'm gonna head to bed because tomorrow is turnaround day. I think it will be a pretty busy day because Akane and I are planning to get off in Miami and go shopping tomorrow. Maybe I'll even vlog tomorrow as a standalone day as well. I hope you enjoyed the look at the day in my life and learning a bit more about what other people do on the ship, because I think that's pretty cool. So let me know if you enjoyed that and if you want to see more of that in the future. Thanks for watching and supporting me. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you in the next one.